Hi, it's Gabriel from Task Sensor again, and today we're going to be covering our auto-splitting feature. This exclusive feature allows you to see your deprioritizations, days off, and weekends. I'm going to show you a couple ways that auto-splitting works. This feature works automatically in case of a collision in your timeline. The items in your timeline can get split in multiple ways. Let's say Layla is working on a task, but you assign a higher priority task to her. All you have to do is place the priority task at the date and time you want it to be done. The system will automatically split the previous task into two segments so Layla can see the task priority. The previous task, MI4, has been split and now has two segments. The new MI13 task is placed between those segments on the timeline. Layla's timeline has also auto-adjusted the start and due dates of the tasks that come after. Clicking on either of these segments will open the segment view, which shows the information of each segment individually. You can switch between segments with the Splits tab. Each segment has its own status and details, which can be edited. Except for the status and details, all segments in a task share the same title, description, comments, task type, links, attachments, and task priority. After splitting the task, you can still manage it as a single task in the Kanban and list view. I've switched to the Kanban view, where I can see my segmented task individually or grouped by status. This is the group status, and here is my task. I can see that one of the two segments of this task has the in progress status, so it is in the in progress column. The other segment of this task has the to do status, so it's in the to do column. Clicking on this task will open the task view, but the details section is not adjustable because this is not the aggregated task view. The segments are collected in one place along with information like overall estimation, start date of the first segment, and due date of the last segment. On top, you can see the aggregated status of these tasks. You can switch the segment view by clicking on the segment you want in the Splits tab. You can then make changes on that exact segment. The same applies to the list view. Here I can see the group view, and here is my task. On the left side of the task name, I can see that this task has two segments, and of course by clicking on it, I can open the task view again. Both the Kanban and list views have the display splits option. By enabling that option, I can see each segment individually in the right column. Here I can see the MI4 task has been split into one segment, in progress, and another, to do. By clicking on the segment, I can open the segment view and make changes. It works the same in the list view. Here are the first and second segments, and by clicking on either, I can open the segment view and switch between them. Let's go back to the holistic view to show you some other ways in which auto-splitting works with your timeline. Auto-splitting can work with off times, but because off times are locked items that cannot move, making changes to this task size will split it. I'll resize this task for 2 days, and now we can see that the second segment comes after this off time. Only the task was split. Another case of auto-splitting is if we change the estimation of a split task which is next to the task that is already done and therefore locked. I can click on MI10, which is already split, open the segment view, and change the segment's estimation to 3 days. Since next to this segment there is a locked item, this exact segment cannot get any bigger, which means the system will split this segment again. Here you can see that a third segment has appeared. When I close the segment view, the third segment is here on the timeline next to the locked item. The auto-split feature works outside of projects too. If a person has an occupied space on their timeline, placing another task at that occupied space splits it. The reference of this occupied space is PL13. If I go over to the project where the occupied space is coming from, which is the product launch project, I can see that PL13 is segmented by an occupied space from the previous project. Finally, split tasks can be collapsed back together. If I take the second segment and drop it onto the first one, now the task PL13 does not have segments and it's one whole task. If I go back to the market intro project, I can see that this occupied space PL13 is back in its original place and no longer segmented. I hope that helped you understand how our auto-split feature works, but stay tuned for more exciting features from Task Sensor.